Hello and welcome into our Thursday show. It's Longshore and McKnight without the Longshore in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light. Yep, everybody, here it is. Friendly confines, home base, the hacienda here, finally back in Troy after a week in Omaha at the College World Series with the Troy Trojans. I'm Barry McKnight, and for the fourth time this week, our man Warren Matthews is in for John Longshore. I've had people comment about your background before. Several diplomas. Yes, they're his. You can print some off, I guess, PDFs.
Although you can, yes, you can get diplomas online. We haven't confirmed whether they're legit or not.
Yeah, family pictures and all that. Warren, appreciate you being here. Thanks very much.
Well, my favorite is This is from Gurn Jr. He bought this at a thrift store. I grew up with basset hounds, so
okay.
he provided me with a basset hound, and he kind of did that to mock me because I've been married now for 34 years, and one of the things I've asked for and never received is to be able to have a basset hound. And my wife at one point she was going to be a vet. I mean, she is an animal person. We've got horses, we've got dogs, we've got cats, we've got fish, we've got everything. She does not like basset hounds.
Who? Nothing. I'm not going to.
She says they're smelly and they slobber, and I cannot disagree with that.
Well, so do husbands,
I mean, that's why you're attracted to the dog that you are. You see the pet parents and they look like their dogs. I'm a basset hound. I'm lazy. I'm slow. I kind of have a scent to me. Thus we digress. Like I said, this is day 4. We have a holiday tomorrow, but I'm like a bad pity. I just keep popping up. And John will be back Monday.
For those who are familiar with kind of the tone and the flow of this program, even back in the radio days when John and I were together for 30 years, first segment is always kind of news of the day. Let's hit you. Okay, this is actually what's happening. And then later on, we'll get into issues and topics and all of that. But the two big things in sports that happened yesterday, and you can disagree, but you can start your own podcast and do it the way you want it. This is the two big stories, actually 2 big stories, 3 big scores that you'll probably want to know in case you haven't heard about it. Of course, the Braves are struggling. We've already had people on the chat line kind of lamenting the fact that John isn't here to watch the Braves struggle. Bill from Baltimore says it's actually quite poetic. John's not around in the midst of the Braves having a little mid-season swoon. Still have a huge lead in the division, though. John would be all over that. That's not one of the big things going on. The 3 big scores, the 3 big things that happened in actual sports, 2 of them in the College World Series. North Carolina beats West Virginia, eliminates West Virginia. Their season is done. 12-7 is the final score. Good. Get West Virginia out of there. Not a fan. And Oklahoma beats Georgia. Bad. 11-4. Georgia is out. I had them as my big favorite to win the whole thing. Troy has played them twice, and goodness gracious, can they hit. And they have pretty good pitching, but they live and die by the 3-run homer, and they didn't hit the 3-run homer. So your College World Series championship season gets started on Saturday. It's a best 2 out of 3, just like you're used to, in a conference baseball setting. Saturday, game 1. Sunday, Saturday, it'll be a 7 o'clock start time. Sunday at 7 o'clock. And then Monday, if you have to have one. All right, those are 2 big scores.
All right, who you got, Barry?
I got North Carolina in it. I got North Carolina. Personal
I agree.
reasons.
I agree.
I actually graduated from high school about 30 miles outside of Chapel Hill. My mom used to work at the University of North Carolina, and I've always thought that was a wonderful place. But I also think Oklahoma they're very, very hot. They could do it. I wouldn't be shocked. But North Carolina's got the pitching. They're just so versatile. They do a lot of things right. I've got North Carolina winning it. The national championship does not go to the SEC. Those are two big scores. The third big score, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, there are two Congos. One of them is actually technically called Zaire, I guess. But the Democratic Republic of Congo, I'll just go ahead and tell you, they tie Portugal yesterday. It's a draw. 1-1 score. I didn't watch it. I was watching another soccer match, as a matter of fact. But the Phantom did it again. The Phantom's daily dog, he has gotten winners over the last couple of days in absentia with Cabo Verde and the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
I would say the Senegal push was just as impressive.
And Senegal, Senegal.
It came at the 91st minute. They were down 3-0 and pushed with a goal in the 91st minute in extras. But yesterday, there's an ad. I can't come up with it in my head, Barry. There's a guy it's like the guy says, there I was in the Congo. And I don't know where it's from, but that's all I could think about the Congo, plus the horrible situation that's going on in the Congo.
Yeah.
I mean, there is nothing worse in the world, even with the wars that's going on in Congo. And the fact Ronaldo just totally cracked it. I mean, it was and he's so high profile that if it just been Portugal, okay, what the hell? But he is, it's the opposite of the Messi situation.
Yeah.
So
it's like he is to Portugal now internationally as Saban was to Alabama, kind of. Like yesterday, all over the world, people are saying, can you believe it? The Congo tied Ronaldo. Ronaldo only got a tie against the Congo or draw or whatever. It's like, man, I can't believe that guy's beaten Saban 4 times in the last 7 years. It's weird. They ain't beaten Saban. They beaten Alabama, but that's the personification of it.
Something about Lamo. I mean, I think it's a Lamo situation, maybe.
It's more like, West Monroe High School and Alabama. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, they and the Phantom is on an incredible streak. The Phantom has been on winning streaks before, or non-losing streaks before, of some length. But usually it's in college football or the pros. The Phantom was killing it in the NBA Finals, killing it dead. 5-0 in the NBA Finals against the number. And now he can't be beat in the World Cup. It's unbelievable. Also, yesterday, one other thing, those are the 3 big ones. That will
Hey, Barry, before you move on, it's almost like when they have like the animals picking things where, like they'll have an animal, it'll go to one thing or the other, and the puppy will go to the thing or some animal selects that. It's almost like that to me.
It's like the corgi at the top of the stairs, and like 6 stairs down, you've got a wastebasket that says Indiana and a wastebasket that says Miami, and a little ball at the top, and the corgi will nose the ball down and it'll land in Indiana. Oh, the corgi picks Indiana, and they'll be right. And this is what, 7 times in a 7-game/match unbeaten streak for the Phantom. And again, it's not just that. The Phantom's done that before. Pretty good bit. It's where he's getting it from. You do not have to know a lot about the San Antonio Spurs, I guess. You do not have to know a lot about the Knicks or about gosh, some of the other ones he's picked, Tarleton State or Abilene Christian. But the fan didn't even know that Cabo Verde existed. And he got a win from Cabo Verde. That is a hot streak, my gosh. Also, yesterday in the World Cup, stay with me now, stay with me. England beats Croatia yesterday 4-2. Ghana beats Panama.
Okay, Barry. This is the segue to, you're like, okay, what can Warren possibly add to the Ghana Panama match?
Again, what I have noticed, just as a prelim, what I have noticed from my association with Warren on air, and I've known him for a long time too, you could walk up to him at a small dinner party or at a sporting event or something, and you could say, you just no advance, no small talk. You could say, Saskatchewan, go. And within 5 seconds, Warren will either be related to somebody who went to college in Saskatchewan, has a cousin whose housekeeper was married to somebody in Saskatchewan, or been to Saskatchewan in the recent past. What do we got here?
Funny you should say Saskatchewan, because I have a client I've been to Regina, Saskatchewan.
Right. It's not Regina. It's
lots
Regina.
Of people from there, yes. And I have a client that has a plant in Mobile that they're originally from Saskatchewan.
See what I'm saying? See what
the
I'm
Rough Riders, who I can't remember the guy's name, but there was a guy from Alabama or Auburn that played for them that had some kind of STD or something that got kicked out of the CFL. That's how crazy it is. All right. So what would we have to do? What could I possibly know about the Ghana-Panama game?
Here we go.
Other than the fact is that my daughter, I guess I'll refer to her as Tiffany Gurn.
Oh, sure. We have referred to her as that before.
On Monday, she says, "Hey, Dad, I've got this new job and I'm going to the home base and it's in Toronto." And I said, "Great. Hope you can speak the language," as a joke, Yeah. And she said, "Hey, there's a World Cup match on Wednesday night and we free up. I want to go." I said, "Okay." She said, "The tickets are pretty expensive." And I said, "Well, I'm all about experiences for all my children and my spouse. We
100%.
Sporting events, we don't travel just to travel. We travel to go to sporting events." So that's she knew that was in my wheelhouse. She knew I was a soft target on that. I said, "Okay, I will pay X for your ticket. You pay the difference." She said, "Fine." So she calls me yesterday. "I've got this ticket. It's more than what you're willing to pay, but I'll pay the difference." And she told me where it was, and it was okay. I mean, but the stadium's only 45,000. So there's no public transportation in Toronto right now to get to the stadium. They've just blocked off all the streets. So it's all pedestrian. So she said, and she wasn't that far, but it was a 45-minute walk based on her ways. So It's a good, it's a good little walk. And she's running a little late. She gets there. I'm very pleased. I said, "Look, the deal is you got to get some souvenirs."
Sure.
She told me what she bought, and I said, "That's great." So later in the night, we're at dinner, plugged to a local restaurant in Greenville, Alabama Grill. We go there on Tuesday or Wednesday nights. Get a text from her. It says, "Hey, Dad, what happens if nobody scores?"
That is a legitimate American question.
And I just gave her a simple 3-letter response: tie. And she goes, "Oh." Well, the next thing I got was about, I don't know how much longer, a video. And Ghana scored in extras to win 1-0. And the place is going crazy.
Yeah. The Ghanaians.
And
there's a bunch.
And what's interesting about that is I thought the stadium looked really cool. There's only 45,000 people in the stadium. It's the smallest, I think it's the smallest venue of all the World Cups. But she also sent a picture to her mother. She didn't send it to me. I think she might have met one of Canada's goalies too. I don't know.
Okay,
Might have been in the audience. I don't know. She didn't send that to me, but anyway, that's our from Greenbow, Alabama / Birmingham to the World Cup in Toronto. That's our crack correspondent reporting in from the World Cup 2026. So that's all we got this year. That's all we've got this year, but
evidently Ghana scored a goal that came like in the 93rd minute or something like that. So
right. Yeah,
it's been good. Now, for a lot of you out there, the United States plays tomorrow against Australia, who I don't know whether Australia is any good at soccer. They play that one in Seattle, and can't tell you where to watch it from. Who knows? I couldn't tell you. I think it's in the knockout round or whatever. But I'm just loving the spectacle of it all. So those are the three big things you need to know going in the world of sports today. Several other issues out there we'll talk about. Also, Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com checks in. We'll hear from Rodney Orr, the top of the hour from TigerInsider.com, presented by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. We have lifted off. It's Longshore and McKnight without the Longshore in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light?
I'm here, Bud Light.
Bud Light here?
Bud Light here.
Bud Light here?
Bud Light where?
Bud Light here?
Oh, Bud Light there.
I missed that because of you.
You did not miss that play because of me.
Have to stop talking this way?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun.
Hey, I got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What I miss?
I have no idea.
Chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
It is Longshore and McKnight. Warren Matthews is in. I'm Barry McKnight. There is, other than the College World Series, very little news in the world of sports involving the state of Alabama as of right now. Normally, if you look at Yellowhammer News, which we love, they have done a great job of following Troy baseball. They have done a great job of, talking sports. That's underrated. I mean, it's Yellowhammer News, but they do have a lot of sports going on. Michael Branner has been following it. We've had him on the air before. Love those guys. But other than that, in the state of Alabama, or involving or even remotely interesting to the state of Alabama right now, recruiting, maybe? Oh,
Barry.
Yeah.
I've got to channel my inner John Longshore here.
Yeah.
I know you miss him. It's going to be Monday. But there be I can't really do a throat clear right now or whatever the other telltale, like whatever.
Yeah. Throat clear, sniff.
He goes, I'm not saying anything.
Oh, nice.
But I'm a little disappointed in Brian Matthews when we brought up the police blotter comment. We have that edge rusher from Auburn was arrested on reckless endangerment charges this week.
Oh,
Deshaun Womack, number 15. He's I think he's an Ole Miss transfer.
Right.
He played at LSU, but they don't really. What's interesting is we don't know what that was, but when they quote the actual in the AL.com article, they quote what the law is. And I'm a lawyer, and I still don't understand what the guy did. He says a person commits the crime of reckless endangerment if he recklessly engages in conduct which creates a substantial risk of serious physical injury to another person.
I got you.
I don't know what that is. I don't. And as a journalist, I'm not allowed to, project or what that might
speculate.
Speculate. It is a Class A misdemeanor, which is good. That's if you're looking at the world when the M word, the misdemeanor word shows up, not the F word.
Ooh, felony.
Felony, you're typically in a better spot. Usually just running stadium steps, if they still do that.
What could it be? Could it be?
It could be a fight.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, that's one of those things that it could be driving in a reckless manner. I don't know. I don't know. So they don't list it. More to come. It's not. That's how slow the Alabama Auburn sports cycle is right now.
A Class A misdemeanor. I mean, it's like jaywalking. Is that like?
I mean, it's probably like something you would get.
If you
I don't know how old he is, youthful offender. I mean, it's not something it's a fine, not any kind of sentence or anything like that.
Now, I'm going to go rapid fire on this. This has become a bit of a hot topic. We do not have a show tomorrow. We are taking Friday off. It's a 3-day weekend for us on the show. And here's rapid fire on the chat line on your screen. Plainsman Preston says they're celebrating Juneteenth. And our buddy Ty says, that's tomorrow, I thought. Preston says, there's no show tomorrow. No show. Ty says, really? No show? Plainsman Preston says, not tomorrow. Yep. You guys are finally coming to grips with it. We're here for
maybe the subtitles. Maybe our subtitles aren't coming through on the bottom, and lip reading is out. But yes, yep. That's I'll be celebrating a golf tournament in the rain. And our offices are closed. And Barry, I'll tell you what Barry's going to be celebrating. He may actually even sleep into 7 o'clock.
I
don't even know what that is. When will you wake up tomorrow, Barry?
Well,
after this,
my wife has to work. So she'll get up regular time, but she'll work a half day. So I'll get up early-ish. But it's the civilized mindset that I have a hard time. I have been on the go, traveling all over the place, been busy. I love it. I love what I do. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if I could do more. But I mean, there's always something to do. I work weekends. I work a lot of nights. Of course, I work this show in the morning and all that. I have a full-time job at the university and everything, and I'm busy all the time. We began back in late August, and it feels like every weekend is full through last weekend. The first weekend or the second weekend in June. Now I'm faced with a weekend where, Sunday's Father's Day. My father is no longer with us. He was a great dad, but I'm a father. My wife's father is a wonderful man. He lives about an hour south of us with her mom and family, and we'll go down there. But other than that, what I have to remind myself, Warren. All right. What do people do on weekends? I got a Friday off. Are things? What happens on Friday? What can
I have a feeling
it's hard to get back out of the swing of things.
If John were here, he'd say, "I'll bet you $20 I'll see Barry at Costco tomorrow afternoon."
It's likely possible. Yeah. Maybe a thrift store or two. Whatever's open. I don't know. I mean, it's like real time, real world things. I'm like, all right, it's Saturday. I got a whole day in front of me.
Are you a napper?
Oh yeah.
So are you a power napper? You're probably not a 2 or 3 hour napper. You're probably a 30-minute pop it in and you're refreshed.
Well, like yesterday, it's difficult. I'm like Warren. I'm fairly tall. I'm 6'4", and I travel with a lot of big people, a lot of big football players, a lot of tall basketball players, a lot of big baseball players, and it's always difficult for us to nap on the go, particularly on an airplane, which we flew back into Montgomery yesterday. But I'll fall asleep. I fell asleep on the bus from Montgomery down to Troy, and you can never sleep for very long. I just can't, not while you're in transit. My wife's the same way. She's not a big napper. But if I take one, it'll be 20 minutes, maybe 30. But yeah, you get it while you can get it. I never like during the middle of the day go into the bedroom and close the door and turn the lights out and take a long nap. That would screw up my sleep patterns for the night. It's just you're around. I'm around other people all the time. I love people. I love the job I do. I love the work I do and the activity, and I do love the travel. But this weekend is kind of a weekend where I'm sitting thinking, okay, I'll mow the grass. It needs mowing. I haven't been here in a week. D and I may go to lunch somewhere and all that. But what do other people do? I mean, what is there to do on a Friday and a Saturday in mid-June? Normally, I've already had a couple of weekends to get ready for it. Now it's late in the summer, and I got to get started back up again in a couple of months. It takes a little bit of getting used to again.
So Barry, when you and Dee say, all right, where are we going to eat? How do you get off not going to Sisters? Is that like that? Do you just say we've been there too much and we've got to go somewhere else? Because I would go there every time if I lived in Troy.
It is our default.
Okay.
A lot of people like my great and good friends Rod and Paula Bramlett. God bless them. I can barely even talk about them. They made it a point. Their entire marriage, they went to lunch together every day, and I try to do that with Dee. She's super busy. She's very good at her job. I'm super busy, but we always set that aside for us. That's what we do. And sometimes we'll go with friends or my mom or all that, but that's our time. And Sisters is the default. The only thing about Sisters is that she gets an hour, and it's a tight hour, and Sisters is way, south of town on 231. We do it a lot, and we see so many friends there and all that. But there are times whenever she, and because I'm on campus, we can eat at the staff and faculty dining facility on campus, which is great. But sometimes it's hard to park. It's just every once in a while we will say, do you feel like Sisters? Well, not today. And that's when we really have to think, do you want to go to the ramen place? Do you want to go to campus? Do you want to go to Hooks or whatever like that? But Sisters is absolutely what
was the Wilson's? Was it Wilson's barbecue that used to be behind the Wendy's, where Wendy's used right there on?
Yeah.
That was it was at Wilson's, or it wasn't Horns. It was Wilson's.
No, it's not there anymore, whatever it is.
Not there anymore. It left, but it had the best camp stew in the history of mankind.
So
Now, is Crows downtown? Is it still around?
Yeah, it is. It is.
But the one, man, I tell you, Barry, this may surprise you, but my standard go-to, even if it wasn't a mealtime, if I'm driving from Montgomery or Greenville to Ozark or Dothan, I would stop at the Crows on 231 and get my standard order. And you will not believe what that standard order was.
I probably would, but go ahead.
I am a gizzard fan. And they have that I don't know if they still have gizzards, but I am a gizzard fan, and I would get an order of gizzards and I'd pluck those things, and I would be the box wouldn't make it to Brundage.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, the Crows in Brundage is really good. I love the Crows in Brundage. I'm a chicken liver guy.
Okay.
I'm a chicken liver guy, which my wife assuredly is not. So, I don't get it every time. Goodness knows I'd wait $4.25 or something. But if the mood strikes me, and they got gizzard, they got livers at Sisters every once in a while. But
so, Barry, I tell people this: I am not a good person, and when I say that, that means I'm about to tell a story of where I pulled a practical joke.
Okay, here we go.
Years ago, I was in Montgomery, so it's not less than 26 years, but more than 20 years ago.
All right.
Before back when fax machines were really a thing.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law in Mobile calls me irate. He has gone to Cracker Barrel in Mobile, right there on 65.
Solid.
And gotten his favorite dish, which were chicken livers.
Yes.
And he got food poisoning and got really sick. And so it was immediate. And so he saved some of the livers and then turned it back over to Cracker Barrel, and they said they would look into it. And that's all he knew. And he calls me about it. He says, "What do I do?" And I said, "Man, I don't know." And that's when my wheels started spinning for a practical joke.
Okay.
So I created a fake toxicology report on the chicken livers.
That's inspired.
From Cracker Barrel. And it looks, I basically took one off the internet, made it look just like it.
Oh,
and I got special words in there that if you Googled them or looked them up, it would say that these chicken livers had carcinogens in them.
Right.
And fecal matter. And so I faxed it to him under a fake. Back then you could put fake headings on faxes.
Sure.
And he got it. And I kind of forgot about it. I went out, I left. And he got it for like 2 hours. He thought he had eaten fecal matter and carcinogens.
Yeah.
And my secretary at the time, Tina, she was in on it, and then she said, "I'm never doing that again for you." But then she did. But so that's my chicken liver Cracker Barrel story. So that's you never know what you're going to get, Barry. It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
For this, you never thought you'd go down a path of chicken livers today.
They do have gizzards at Red's little schoolhouse over there in Grady, which we go to every once in a while after church. This week, Jerry Miller, my partner on the air, who's wonderful, and Dee and I went to lunch downtown Omaha in the old market to this nice place. And Jerry ordered as an appetizer chicken fried pork bellies.
Okay.
Now that's for somebody who just does not care. Because
his cardiologist smiled. His cardiologist smiled.
Loaded with fat, no nutritive value, and pretty dadgum good. They were. I had a couple of chicken fried pork bellies, which are just as terrible for you as it sounds like they are, but they are just as good as they sound as well. Only time in my life ever had that. I'm with you. I like to just new experiences. Let's try something. And Dee is usually great about it. But chicken fried pork bellies was not on my list of, man, I've got to try those. Standing by, hopefully in a moment, we'll get Jason Caldwell from auburnundercover.com scheduled to join us next. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Great to have you along with us here. Again, looking for Jason Caldwell. Hopefully in a little bit. Sometimes that happens. It happened with Brian on Tuesday. We ended up getting him on Wednesday. It's it's the summer. And for those guys who've been covering stuff all, calendar year, all academic year long, they take a little time as well. So we hope to get Jason, but if not, that's good. We'll deal with that. It seems as though there's never any real challenge at filling airtime with gizzards. Gizzards are the throat, right? I mean, that's like the neck, the chicken neck.
Yeah, I think it helps grind up gizzards. Don't they grind up the food to help
something in the gizzards do, I think.
Yeah,
but,
to get it in to be able to be digested. But
to me,
I think I'm the only person in my family that will eat them. But back in the day, Barry, not to wax nostalgic, but back in the day, you couldn't just buy, like you can now. All right, I'm gonna go get some chicken breasts or legs. You had to buy the fryer. You had to buy
do it yourself,
and then cut it up and then fry chicken. You'd cut it up and be, pieces, and you cut the pieces up, and they'd have a little sack in there with the gizzard and the liver. But do you remember, if you've ever been to Martin's here in Montgomery,
I have,
what they're special for, and and that's the only place I know that sells them. That's the pulley bone.
I've seen places that have sold that before.
So that's very rare, but the pulley bone, and we used to, in my family, we would fight over the pulley bone. And frankly, I don't know why. It's white meat and it's kind of dry.
Yeah,
it's just the ability to be able to take it and do that and make a wish. That was why it was attractive in our family. So
never have been a fan of that. But the gizzard's a little chewy to me, and my son Jack, who celebrated a birthday the other day, Jack is an outdoorsman. He hunts, he fishes, all that. He's got guns and he's got bows and arrows and all. I don't know where he gets that from because it isn't from his dad.
Same here. I don't have that bone in my body.
I like to go, and I've gone with him before. I'll walk around with him and all that. And, I like going outside. I like being physically active and all that. But he knows all that stuff. And he loves doing it. But so I'm no outdoorsman. The same reason why I don't like gizzards, and I don't hate them, why I don't necessarily like gizzards is why I can't eat squirrel. I'll eat frog legs. I won't eat a squirrel because it's a dang squirrel, that poor little squirrel minding its own business, then boom, all of a sudden you got to, I'm not eating it. It's a squirrel, squirrels are cute. I have eaten fried squirrel before. I remember one time, this was when Andy Burcham and I were working together doing a morning show in Opelika. We did it for years. And it was out in the middle of nowhere, a suburb of Opelika, and it was a good job. We had a receptionist who would bring her lunch every day, a super nice lady. And she brought chitlins. And
she tell you what they were?
Oh, I knew what they were. But she brought
fried
chitlins.
or boiled. Fried or boiled.
They were boiled. Boiled. And she brought a bunch. It was in one of those big Tupperware deals. She brought a bunch. I guess I don't know exactly what the appropriate serving of chitlins are, but I had never had them before. I've lived in the South my whole life. I had never had, knew what they were, had resolved to myself that I was never going to eat them. Andy Burcham is from Nashville, Illinois, right in the middle of the state. And of course, now he's lived in Alabama for forever. And I've known him the whole time. Super, super great guy. And he'd never had them either. Well, and so she came and she wanted us to try them. Her name is Claudia. And Claudia wanted us to try these chitlins. Well, Andy wasn't going to try them. I'd never tried them, and I told her so. And she says, well, I'll fix you an extra big portion. I said, no. So she fixed me an extra big portion. And I ate the chitlins. And meanwhile, everybody's trying to gross me out while I'm eating the chitlins. The station owner, who has now been the mayor of Opelika for like 30 years, Gary Fuller, he was telling us, and he's from Dadeville, he was telling us all the different ways you can prepare chitlins. And some of them sound pretty gross. And I ate the chitlins. I did it, and they were very, very, very chewy. It's like eating sectioned off pieces of bicycle tire, if you ask me. But it's like you're talking about with gizzards. You eat a gizzard, and it's the throat. They got stuff in there and all that. You know what the purpose of a chitlin is in the hog, and you got to just put that out of your mind. I cannot put it out of my mind that, man, that's a squirrel I'm eating or anything. But the chitlins, I was able to say, all right, because she's looking at me like an expectant aunt or something like that. Hey, do you like them? Are they good? And I'm eating the chitlins at whatever it was, 30-something years old. And they were very, very chewy. And I kept thinking, these are a hog's bowels. This is a hog's intestines. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And I have never eaten them again. And it's like a lot of things out there in food. You're thinking the first man to eat a chitlin was a very, very hungry man. Somewhere in history.
Desperate.
Somewhere in history, for instance, this is another example. There was some caveman or Cro-Magnon or Neanderthal man who had just not had any luck hunting and gathering or whatever, and he comes upon an oyster. And he pries open that oyster to see what it looks inside and says, I am so hungry, I'm going to eat this oyster. That's a desperate man right there. Same thing with I mean, if you go to one of the two Piggly Wigglies in Troy, they have pig's knuckles, they have chicken feet, they have tripe, they have jowls, they have head cheese, which I'm still not sure why they call that cheese, because it is not. And people buy it. That people buy that all the time. They slap that on the counter and pull out their card and say, give me this tripe. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
So Barry,
oxtails and
my family was in the wholesale grocery business till we sold to Petrie Wholesale.
Of course.
So my summers, I was the replacement salesman. So I'd get in a little truck, and I'd go around and take orders and do whatever. When it was really special, a special day, and I went all over the Panhandle, I went all over Victory Boulevard and Columbus. We had that whole territory. They'd say, Warren, you need to go over to the side warehouse and pick out a XJ57. I'd look down and I'd go, yes. So every now and then, a convenience store would get to the bottom of their jar, the big jar of pickled pig's feet, the eggs, all the things you can buy, and they'd have to have a replacement. And I would be able to take the replacement jar to them and deliver it, because you wouldn't deliver it on a big truck because it's too fragile, as they say in the Christmas story.
Yes.
And so that was
Italian.
That was my, and I would never eat one. I mean, I wouldn't, or pickles, the big, you get a big dill pickle jar and all that. So I heard you say that you work for Mayor Gary.
Of course, Warren Matthews knows Gary Fuller.
I have to make this connection, Barry, because it is such a part of my life and my wife's life, is that for 10 years now, we've been playing pickleball. And pickleball is, if I don't play three times a week, it's not a good week.
And just in case you're wondering, this is probably an aside as I jump the route here. Opelika, Alabama is like Wimbledon for pickleball. It's like Oklahoma City is to softball, or Omaha is to college baseball. Believe it or not, and Gary Fuller, he was my boss for 8, 9, 10 years. He's been the mayor of Opelika for like 25 or 30. The pickleball courts in Opelika are incredible.
It's the Mecca.
Incredible. Opelika, who knew?
Well, I'll tell you who knew. So we started 10 years ago. I played, probably our first tournament was on some courts in between Auburn and Opelika at little tennis courts. They lined off, and so these group of people started playing. Okay, and then we were missionary. We had a few people from Montgomery and Greenville. We went and played, and then they took it to a new level. And the reason they took it to a new level was because there was a pickleball enthusiast who was a very good player, who convinced her husband to build massive courts in Opelika. So Gary's wife, Laura is continued in 70 plus. She's nationally ranked and is a heck of a good player. Play with her, time to time. Not lovely person too.
Sure is.
But she convinced them to build pickleball courts, which were unusual, that you'd have a big complex in a place called Opelika, about the size. But if you've ever been to that facility, they've got pool, basket. It's a great facility. But what was interesting about it is they covered their courts. They are outdoor courts that are covered. So say you're in Greenville, Alabama, and you want to go play pickleball, but you don't know whether it's going to rain or not. You don't have to care because it's covered. So we could drive over. You knew they were going to be able to play. So they had, I think we've got 24 covered, and they just opened another 12 uncovered with this little stadium. So it's now, I mean, when I say it, build it and they will come, it is by hands down the greatest. And they've got a volunteer organization over there, hundreds of people who put on great tournaments, and then it brings in revenue. No telling how much revenue it brings to the area. People stay in Opelika.
It is. It's
Waverly. People stay in Waverly. If you've ever been to
Yeah.
Waverly, you know,
Right.
it's an economic development driver, and he's a big proponent of economic development.
Oh,
You
no
see
doubt.
Opelika
What he
done
did
really
in
well.
Opelika.
But he
should be
realized
studied.
that athletics could drive it too. And there's a guy named Sam Bailey who runs the Parks and Rec over there. They just named the little pavilion for him. I'll give a shout out to my man Sam. But yeah, no, it is. All right, that's enough on pickleball, but that's my connection to the
Gary Fuller,
Mayor
my old
Gary and his
boss.
wife
Yeah.
Laura in Opelika. So
Yep.
Yeah.
How about that? Oh, well, the economic driver of it all is really curious, because I've never, like I said, when I grew up as a kid in Palm Bay, Florida, right across the street from the big sportsplex. I mean, right across the street. I played a lot of tennis. I've always loved to play tennis. Never played pickleball. My wife's cousin, big pickleball guy, a former player at Troy, used to be the head baseball coach at Georgia State, Greg Frady, great pickleball guy. Never have played it, never have come close to playing it, but it seems like it'd be fun. And goodness knows, people everywhere are nuts over pickleball, particularly people who are older that don't get around a tennis court. Plainsman Preston, right when I was in school at Gainesville, living in the dorms right across the street from the racquetball courts. I played a ton of racquetball. Pickleball, I got to try it someday. Somebody's going to give me some beer. We'll have pickleball.
So, Barry, all right, I'm looking up Palm Bay. Palm Bay, they play pickleball at the Anthony Tony Rosa Community Center.
Get out.
Tony
Rosa was my youth league football coach for the Palm Bay.
That's on Port Malabar Boulevard.
That's the big. I haven't been to Palm Bay in 20 years, maybe 25. That's the main drag. Right in the middle of Palm Bay is Port Malabar Boulevard. We lived about 2 houses off of. We're right at that thing. Tony Rosa was my football coach when he was the football coach of the Palm Bay Falcons when I broke both my arms playing it. And,
did he tell you to rub some dirt on it and get back in there?
No. He's a tough guy now. He was tough, but he loved the kids. He actually had to get one of the assistant coaches to summon, I think it was a Monte Carlo, and they put my arms on top of a shoebox in the back seat, and they to Brevard Hospital or whatever it was. So yeah, Tony Rosa, I did not know that. He was a good man.
Fred Lee Park, they played at Fred Lee Park too. So I don't know if you know where
that's the place. That's the place across the street where I lived. Well, before
on Emerson, you mean Emerson Drive?
Well, the Emerson Drive is one of the drives along there. We were on Chase Lane. So
I just
anyway,
want to take you. We're waxing nostalgic for Barry, taking Barry down memory lane. Barry, this is your life. This is your life.
Of course, he was older when I was a kid, and now I'm older. But his son Jim was always one of my big heroes. Palm Bay, Florida, a great place to grow up if you're a kid. Let's take a break right here, and we'll roll into our guy, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, coming up. It's Longshore and McKnight without the Longshore in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Well, Lyle has done it again at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry on Vaughn Road in Peppertree. Mention Longshore and McKnight and buy any of their 3-carat lab-grown diamonds for just $999. You heard me right. Any of Marguerite's 3-carat lab-grown diamonds for just $999. Mention Longshore and McKnight to get this incredible deal all month long in June. It is Lyle's June special at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, open 7 days a week in Peppertree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli on Vaughn Road. Go by and mention Longshore and McKnight to take advantage of their 3-carat lab-grown diamonds for just $999 at Marguerite's, where they make it, they really make it.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says,
You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This summer, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is on a Jurassic hunt for the oldest HVAC systems and water heaters in town. If your system is a fossil, now's your chance. Replace it between June 1st and July 31st, and you could win big. We're giving $2,500 back for the oldest HVAC systems and $1,000 back for the oldest water heater. Even if you don't win, you still score major savings on your new HVAC system, water heater, generator, and or garage door. Don't let your systems go extinct. Call Dixie, and it's
Back again here, almost done with our first live hour of the program. It's Longshore and McKnight. If you are checking us out right now, we kind of subbed out for the content for Jason Caldwell with, among other things, pickleball, chicken gizzards, and chitlins, which top of our head stuff, you know. I mean, it's not like Warren and I got together beforehand and say, all right, College World Series. Okay, we'll do that. All right, yeah. Maybe
so very
and all that. But man, we've got to fit in chitlins. We've got to fit in pickleball. All right.
I got to get this off my head though. You got to help me because and this is something I think you know. I think chitlins, are they not spelled chitterlings? Does that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm just glad I got it out. I had that in the back of my head, and
there was nobody on the face of, I mean, you see them in novels sometimes spelled that way, you know, like in Gone with the Wind or, you know, something like that. But nobody on the whole planet calls them chitterlings. Everybody calls them chitlins, and it's spelled Chitlins. That's it. I mean, you can put an apostrophe in there somewhere if you want to, but they're chitlins.
And it's not that tiny gum. It's not that tiny gum either. That's chiclets.
No, yeah, that's exactly right. Which is, you know, what you can get in the jerk if you guess his weight correctly. It was right underneath the. Yeah. Anyway,
I know you better. I know you well enough, Barry. I'm not going to ask you a trivia question of what in the jerk Steve Martin's or Naven's dog's name was, because I don't want you to feel.
I don't want to curse. I don't want to curse on the air.
Curse on the air. So
yes, yes, that's. I can't say it. No, but no, I
They're
don't.
shooting the cans. They're shooting the cans.
Yes, the cans are defective. You know, he hates the cans. If you've never seen The Jerk, you've got to watch that. So anyway, we're wrapping up the first hour of the program. Again, the College World Series is set, and believe me, if Warren all of a sudden threw his hands up and just left the air right now, I could go an hour on the College World Series. It's one of those rare things in life. And again, for the backstory, for those just joining us, I am the radio and television play-by-play voice for Troy University. Have been day before yesterday, wrapped up my 24th year. I've been at it for a while. And I've been to the College World Series before, back at the old Rosenblatt in 1997, just to cover it. But I had always wanted to do play-by-play from the By Gosh College World Series. And, you know, tons of my friends, I got a jillion friends in the broadcast industry, thank goodness. And they'd always told me, Andy and you know, Chris Stewart and all of those guys had told me, you know, what a great thing it was. And that's just a couple of them. There's a bunch. Man, College World Series is the best. And I always wanted to do it. Well, I got the chance. Troy had a really good team this year, got hot at the very end, win the Super Regional at home in Troy, and then go to the College World Series. It's one of those rare things in life that you don't have it happen very often, where the actual thing lives up to the buildup of it all. when it happens in your life, you need to treasure that, because there are so many things out there that are built up so great. And once you get it, you're like, that's not that much. For me, that was it. I'd always wanted to do it. I get there, and everything about it was wonderful. It was run well. The baseball was great. It was well supported. My wife, I had to have a chance to have her there, and I love her dearly, and it meant a lot to her because she loves her some Troy, went to school here and all that. Just everything about it was absolutely more than I had been led to believe.
How about that moment, Barry, when you're walking in the stadium for the first time by that guy? You don't have a ticket. You've got a credential, right?
Yeah, right.
And you walk up, you're walking in with your stuff, you show him your credential. That had to be just the coolest moment.
Well,
because that's like, all right, it's real now.
Yeah, we flew in to Omaha, and directly the bus went straight from the airport to the ballpark. This is before all the games. And, we had players, we had coaches, we had broadcasters, we had wives, we had families and boosters. They all got to go out there and take pictures. And we took a jillion pictures, and it was really something. You're like, wow, Charles Schwab Field, the greatest show on dirt in the dugouts and all that. It was so great. And then, to be in there, you have to go down into the dugout well before the team so you can get the pregame interview. And Dee and I were down there. I'm thinking, I am not believing this. And I've done a lot, but man, that was the best. It was great. We begin our second live hour of the program on Thursdays, as always, with Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. It's the freshest seafood in America, and we're glad to have Rodney in. Good morning, Rodney. How are you doing?
Good morning, guys. How are the both of you?
We're doing really well. You caught us at the tail end of a story about the College World Series. Of course, I just got back yesterday from Omaha with the Troy team. It was a short visit for Alabama, though. They were 2-out in the College World Series, and trying to put some perspective on that, that was with everything, that was still a very good year for Rob Vaughn and the Crimson Tide baseball team, right?
It was a great year.
Yeah.
Great year. I thought they did a fantastic job with this team this year. I thought Rob Vaughn did an incredible job. I don't know that, I certainly didn't expect them to be in Omaha. I mean, they went 18-12 in the SEC. And again, I think he had a good roster. He didn't have a great roster.
Agreed.
But what he did with it was pretty amazing. And the way those guys kind of responded to his leadership was really outstanding. So, again, I know it's a disappointing performances, a couple of really disappointing performances, but obviously Oklahoma and Texas are pretty good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It wraps up a really good year all the way around for Alabama. I know we've asked you to comment on that before, but across the board, football, college football playoff, men's basketball, tournament, relatively deep in the tournament, women's basketball, baseball, some of the other sports as well. A lot to be proud of for Alabama fans all the way around in their athletics department.
No, I think it was a great year in that regard. I mean, obviously, like all of the sports that you mentioned, they all were successful. And, I know that Alabama's been really promoting those accomplishments, and they should. But like we said last week too, Barry, ultimately it's going to be football that is the determining factor on how everything is viewed. And listen, Alabama went 11-4 in football. They had a good season, but the way it ended, I think certainly has some people on a sour note.
Yeah, and everybody knows that. I've often, thought that Alabama could win 5 national championships in, I don't know, women's tennis or soccer or baseball or softball or whatever. But if they have too many, 4-loss seasons, the fan base is not going to be happy. Fair or unfair, that's not up for debate between us because everybody has their own opinion. But Rodney, that's just the truth.
Well, it is the truth, and obviously Alabama fans have if you want to call them unrealistic expectations in football. Barry, I laugh about the story after the morning after kick 6 on TiderInsider.com. We had a poster that actually came out. Now, keep in mind, Alabama was going for their 3rd straight national championship. They had won 3 out of the last 4. And the poster, the headline of his message was, "This is unacceptable." So, again, I feel sorry for the head football coach at Alabama.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of the website, speaking of TiderInsider.com, speaking of the forums and all of that type of thing, here we are, Rodney, in mid-June. The actual real substantive activity that people are engaged with and interested in is recruiting. And you have said before on this program, and you have said before on the website, that it's so different. I'm still trying to figure out what's important, what to look for, when things are going well for anybody's recruiting class. Because it used to be, by gosh, you get 25 and you try to get the best 25. You have said before that this is not going to be a big class. And for the people out there who are anticipating, just dozens and dozens of 5-stars on there, it's not really going to happen this year. It's going to be a small, but it doesn't need to happen like that. Correct?
Yeah. First of all, I think they sign, and it, like you said, it has changed. I mean, there's going to be 12 to 15 guys that are signing that are going to be NIL guys, if you want to just phrase it that way. There'll be guys that you allocate at least most of the NIL that you have that is going to go towards recruiting for this class, towards those guys. All right. And then you got other guys that you're going to sign that are going to be scholarship only types. So I think probably 12 NIL, maybe a couple of more, and then you'll have a few scholarship only guys that sign in this class. It's not going to be a big class overall. Like you said, I think the most important thing is that they get some key targets. Given that it's going to be a really small class, you've got to get those key targets, and then you have to get guys that I think you've evaluated well and you feel like can develop into really good players down the road. Because look, let's be honest, this is their vision is retention. You recruit players, you develop them, and you want to reinvest in them and retain them. And so you've got a program that you're not bringing in a bunch of transfers every single year.
Right.
So that's really the goal. That's really their objective. And, that's what probably one of the main reasons is you only have like 9 guys, I think, that are seniors on this class. And then also, now listen, this 5-for-5 rule that supposedly may be coming into effect, you could have guys that you thought you were losing after this year that have more eligibility.
I hadn't thought about that.
Right.
That's the thing. You're exactly. I did not think of. You're exactly right. That I can see that happening for sure.
So Rodney, how fascinating would it be? Because they do this at the end of the year. They get the analytics and compare what somebody is being paid by their production, right? And you go down the list. He's making that. They've got, believe me, I bet they got 2 or 3 people doing the analytics on that.
Sure.
To determine what they're going to pay people for next year. Did they overpay? Did they underpay? I'd be curious to know who the non-NIL players were, who were just scholarship players who had an impact. Because squad people, they're playing special teams, they're doing everything else. And do they elevate themselves to one of those spots by playing their way in? And if not, they go somewhere else.
Yeah, could possibly be. Again, I think that's one of the things certainly that has to be a consideration, managing the roster. And can you imagine what a nightmare that is when you have a budget that you have to try to fit players into, and things change? I mean, and again, a lot of this won't happen until after next season when and over the course of the season, obviously, you're creating a plan in terms of your budget where it's going to go based on, like you said, on the production. You may have to take a major turn. Let me give you an example.
Loves, we're going to ask you for one. Yes.
Yeah. How about Keelan Russell for next year? I mean, I don't know what Keelan Russell's making right now, but look, if he blows up, can you imagine the offers he's going to get? Yeah. Can you imagine what SMU might offer him? I mean, he's from that area. They have a lot of money in Highland Park.
Goodness knows.
He could get it.
That's why you got to pay Austin Mack. Because if he goes, you can't lose both.
You cannot. And also, again, that's why they've recruited some other guys, Jet Tamala, Taden Kawa. These are guys that are really young, talented quarterbacks in their own right. So that's just an example of, a guy who could really blow up this season in terms of NIL.
You say that, and I'm trying to think of in the past some guys that if college football had NIL for all of these years, who would be some of the guys in Alabama's history who would have provided more value than they were being paid? One of those guys I'm thinking of is Minkah. As far as coming in, one of them is Minkah Fitzpatrick. I know people thought a lot of him and all that, but I didn't know that anybody thought he'd be a multiple All-American and a long-time NFL player. There's probably a lot of guys that if everybody sat down and thought, you'd think, boy, this guy provided value way above and beyond his expectations, Rodney.
Well, there's probably several of them, as you know.
Yes.
I mean, as their careers went along, certainly. You could go on and on. I'm trying to think, but listen,
Javier Arenas would be
Javier. If you want to go back that far, Javier Arenas certainly. Yeah. But you take a guy like Tua. Can you imagine what his NIL after people see him in that Georgia game and what he did and what his potential was? And of course, you could see it before then in the games where he played. But he would have been a mega NIL guy. Here's the thing: those rosters that Alabama had under Saban, you could not afford them. You could not. No. There's no way to pay those guys. You had guys sitting on the bench. Think about a guy like Eddie Lacy, who was sitting behind Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson, and then there's Yeldon, and it just goes on and on and on. Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake. You could not have afforded those guys.
That's a great point. Those days were insane for sure. Rodney Orr brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, the freshest fish, shrimp, crab meat, oysters, and more arriving daily from the Gulf, plus a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving terrific po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches as well. Call them up and they'll have it ready ahead of time if you want to swing by and pick it up. It's 334-288-4272, 288-4272 at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, bringing you Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider. What is recruiting looking like now? As far as visits, I know Seaborn has been in, some of those other guys. Has it tapered off a little bit as we've gotten into the summer or not, Rodney?
Well, it picks back up this weekend. They have a good weekend coming in, and I think the first weekend that they had back late May was the big weekend in terms of just the overall numbers. If you wanted to count up all the stars, among those guys, Munchun Sales, who Alabama's still in the mix with. This is turning into a real interesting recruiting situation with him. LSU's gotten in there, Miami, Texas, Ohio State, Indiana, and then Alabama's still in the mix. Osani Gales is a great receiver that visited earlier too, that a lot of people are projecting to Alabama right now out of IMG Academy. And he's probably going to be a 5-star when it's all said and done. And Washington and Stanford in there really highly. Now I'll tell you another kid we heard some positive things about after his visit, and there was some indication, I guess, given that maybe he might be a guy that had given Alabama a wink. But now look, you never know with these recruitments. It's Hayden Stepp, the cornerback, top-notch cornerback out of Las Vegas. Oregon's in there, Georgia, Cal. So I really don't put a lot of stock in until you hear him pull the trigger. But there's some other guys that I think to watch that are coming in this weekend, like Tyler Younger from Norcross, Georgia. He's an edge player that really had a great camp at Alabama a few weeks ago. He's 6'4", 220. Maybe not, again, highly rated, but you're going to see his stock, I think, shoot through the roof. And there's a local kid that I think Alabama's going to take, and I think he'll commit here within the next week or so. Jeremiah Beverly, he's a linebacker from Hillcrest over here in Tuscaloosa. I think he's going to announce on the 26th, and I'd keep an eye on him. Junior Tuopo from Thompson, a safety, has become he's kind of blown up. He was Junior James, if you remember. His name has changed now, but he's a safety at Thompson. Texas is in there real heavily. I'm not sure Alabama can overcome Texas. He visits here this weekend or is scheduled to. And another one that I don't know if he's going to come in or not. We'll have to see. It's Antonio Berry. He's an outstanding offensive line prospect from Tupelo, Mississippi. I think it's Alabama and Ole Miss there. We'll see if he comes in, but Ole Miss has been really confident. I know about that. And, other than that, I mean, well, let me just say this guy too, since I think they're only going to sign one, maybe two offensive linemen in this class. Kid that's kind of blown up, Stafford Willis from Arab. He's a guy that is really kind of blown up here recently, at least in terms of Alabama's recruitment for him. He's coming in this weekend. That'll be one to keep a close eye on.
It's such a developmental position, really, probably the most developmental position there is in football is on the offensive line. Is it an indicator that, when you say that they're likely only going to sign two high school offensive linemen, that they really like the room they've got right now? They really believe in its potential, Rodney?
Yeah. And I'll be surprised, actually, if they sign two. I think it'd be kind of maybe closer to one. But like I said, it could be two. It is. They have 16 guys scheduled to come back for 2027.
Right.
16. So obviously they feel really good. I think they brought in 10 or 11 last year, when you talk about high school recruiting and the transfer portal combined. So I think they feel really good about the group that they have and keeping them, retaining them. Barry, listen, I don't know how you really project with the portal being there, what you're going to have returning.
Right.
Now, we'll say this, based on some things I'd heard, and I've shared this on TigerInsider.com, it sounds like Alabama is signing these guys to deals that, in other words, if you decide you want to leave, well, you're going to have to repay a lot of money. So that's yeah. So I think that was kind of the situation with Michael Carroll last year. Not that he wanted to leave, but I'll tell you, I heard Notre Dame made a really strong pitch for Michael Carroll after last season, but he had a significant buyout. I think he, wanted to stay here at Alabama. So, again, this is how it works. This is how it works. You're going to have guys come. You're going to have teams coming after your key players every year.
And of course, it is completely unethical and illegal to do that, but it does happen.
You can work around it. I mean, and when you say, how do you do that? Well, these agents, there's no rules for these agents. They can go out and shop their players. They can call Texas A&M and say, hey, you need an offensive tackle? I've got a guy over here at Alabama. If you want him, tell us what you're willing to give him. And I'm throwing that out there. I'm not being specific about any school, search situation, but anything can happen. I mean, the same thing happens. People, I'm sure there's agents that reach out to Alabama's coaches, Courtney Morgan, whoever, and say, hey, there's a defensive tackle here at LSU. It's not happy. That's the way it works. Or listen, I'll tell you a story. Last year, there was Texas. I know a couple of schools, Texas A&M among them, that were working through high school coaches for players that were playing in the SEC to say, hey, if your guy's interested, give him a call and tell him we're interested in him. This is the way it works.
That's a workaround. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Rodney, we might be able to spend an entire show this summer on just all of that. Rodney Orr, TighterInsider.com. It is mid-June, but things are hopping in Tuscaloosa as things really start. Everybody starts casting their eyes fully upon the upcoming football season. How do people become subscribers and get involved with everything on the website, Rodney?
Right. It's TighterInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. Gives y'all our premium information, but also our all sports forum. That's where most of the activity is right now. Of course, we'll have some preview on the recruiting. We already had a story this week, kind of looking forward to it. So, we'll see what happens. And look, it's going to really pick up. SEC Media Days aren't far away, and before you know it, we'll be into August camp.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Always great value to visit with you, Rodney. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Excellent work from Rodney Orr at TighterInsider.com. Again, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market on this weekend for Father's Day. I mean, Warren's a dad. I'm a dad. A tie is fine. I mean, I'm okay with socks. That'd be fine. Whatever. But, man, nothing goes better with Father's Day than making sure your dad has some of those oysters, some of the shrimp. They'll boil them up and everything. Oh,
how about some grouper?
Grouper would not hurt my feelings one bit. And the Destin Connection Seafood Market has got the freshest possible. I mean, the seafood is sleeping in the Gulf yesterday, all of it arriving every day from the Gulf. Full service seafood market and kitchen as well. Just call them up at 288-4272, 288-4272, or just drop by and visit them. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery. Proud to be the continuing, ongoing, longtime sponsor of Rodney Orr from TighterInsider.com. More in a moment. We roll on with our second live hour of Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw.
Couple of things to just get out in the open. Again, we are, every once in a while, we'll throw a chat on the screen. Is everybody getting those chats? I mean, whenever, like, for instance, just this from Tobias. I'm fixing to flash it on the screen. Tobias says, crazy how softball has become more popular than men's college baseball. It is very popular. Everybody's seeing that on the screen, right? I've got it up there and on there. We've had a couple, I've referenced a couple of chats earlier in disbelief at the announcement that we are taking tomorrow off. There'll still be content on there. We'll actually be streaming this show, as we often do, through the weekend until John is back on Monday. And so we understand, we get it. We're part of your fabric of daily life, and many of you use this as a way to get your day going, and we appreciate that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But every once in a while, we need to take a day. It just happens. It happens with everybody. And tomorrow is a federal holiday, as it turns out. Also, this. We have coming up next week, we'll probably recap the U.S. Open, Shinnecock. It's going on starting today. John will be back, so it'll be a little bit more all bashing than you're used to in the past, but that's what a lot of people. Another thing that I feel like I've got to pass along to you, so much of what we have done in the past has centered with our guests on recruiting. Brian, Jason, Rodney, Travis, whomever. And it just doesn't have the juice that it used to have. High school recruiting doesn't seem to matter as much for the big schools. Now, a school like Troy, they will get a high school kid, and it's a developmental program. And if you lose them later on, you lose them. But, that's, there's a lot of value in signing high school. Somebody's got to. I mean, this guy that you're signing out of the transfer portal was a freshman somewhere. He didn't just take 2 years off and all of a sudden become a junior and boom, he's a good player and you want to sign him. But it's just lost a little bit of what I thought was kind of overwrought, overblown interest from fans anyway.
But Barry, has it not, though, for the Troys, the Jack States of the world? I would argue you're getting a higher quality recruit.
Yes.
For people who, instead of going to an Alabama or Auburn and being third team, they're coming with the opportunity to play, if not right away, very soon. And that's attractive.
Troy has had a couple of really good true freshman players in several different sports that have been caught up in the numbers of what Warren's talking about. They're not signing as many they're not signing as many recruits at all at Alabama, just as an example. If they sign 15 guys instead of 25, that is 10 Alabama quality recruits that aren't going to be signed in Alabama. They're going to go somewhere because Alabama is signing transfer guys. Well, this guy may end up signing with Kentucky. Well, Kentucky's signing transfer guys too. So it does open that up for group of 5 schools like Troy or something like that. That is true. Of course, the corollary there is, okay, they come to Troy, they play really well, freshman, sophomore, and then they get snapped up by larger NIL. That happens. But, you are getting a chance at more high-quality recruits out of high school at Troy than ever before. So, all that being said, I want to bring this up. There are several different recruiting services out there. Well, sports that follow teams, right? AuburnUndercover.com, AuburnSports.com, TiderInsider.com, BamaOnline.com, whatever, whether it's ESPN or Rivals or On3 or Scout. I'm just telling you this. Right now, the University of Alabama has 8 commitments. 1 5-star. This is according to 24/7 Sports. Alabama, out of their 8 commitments, they have 1 5-star, 1 4-star, 5 3-stars, and 1 guy who's like a 2-star or a 1 or something like that. That put Alabama in high school recruiting right now at number 70 in the nation. 70, number 70. They are in John's infamous reference of the load more section of the rankings, where you can go down the list at 247sports.com. They give you the top 50, and then underneath it, they give you a button giving you the option to load more. Alabama is in that load more pretty comfortably at number 70. Auburn right now is in at number 14. 14 for Auburn. I mean, they've had top 5 recruiting classes, top 10 recruiting classes before. It ain't been recently. Number 14, if you need any help, if you're, for instance, I guess you can do it on your phone. But if you're on your laptop and you need any help in being able to screenshot your laptop, I can help you out. You just go up to that little magnifying glass up there that says search and search screen capture. It'll get you to a thing. You can actually take that screen capture that shows Auburn at number 14 and Alabama at number 40. Right click it, save it, and you have that saved for posterity because it hadn't happened in about, well, I don't think Alabama's ever been number 70.
So you think Bama's going to go out and buy some 4-stars before the end of the cycle? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're out there. You can't enter the transfer portal right now in football.
I'm just talking about
that window has closed.
Yeah.
So my thought is, you can sign him. You can sign him anytime, really, but you can't enter this. So Alabama's grocery cart is relatively empty, but they have about 5 or 6 long lines up and down, produce, cereal, drinks, all that kind of stuff that they can go up and down, and they can have a full cart. And I just want you to do 2 things. Number 1, Auburn fans, screenshot that. You can screenshot it, save it to your cell phone or anything. That way you can win a bar bet this summer down at Santa Rosa Beach. Hey, see, I told you there was once a point in time where Auburn will be number 14 in recruiting and Alabama will be number 70. And number 2, do not get too caught up in that. Again, recruiting used to be the absolute number 1 thing. In June, John and I think, man, there's nothing going on. What can we talk about? We can talk about recruiting. I hear there's this kid from Yulee, Florida. That's pretty good. Well, what about that Auburn guy from Spartanburg, South Carolina, number 48, Stephen, what's his name? Why would he leave Auburn? Well, Stephen Davis, why would he leave Spartanburg? It used to be the thing. It ain't that way anymore. And, oh, man, we got a commitment from Trent Seaborn. Well, great. If he's there by the time he's a senior, I'll be shocked. That kind of a thing. So
Barry, did you see Jim Nagy, the former Senior Bowl executive who is now the GM at Oklahoma?
Yes.
He just went from $815 a year to $1.15 a year.
Yes. You may wonder about it. And we've had Jim Nagy.
Children, if you're out there and you can't play in the NFL or in college, become a college GM.
Jim Nagy was the executive director of the Senior Bowl down in Mobile for several years. We've had him on as a guest in that role. He left the Senior Bowl to sign a deal to be the general manager at the University of Oklahoma's football program. This was not this past February, but the February 2025. So he's been on the job for 16 months. after 7 years as the executive director of the Senior Bowl, Jim Nagy. They lured him away from the Senior Bowl for $750,000, but now they have reworked his deal. He's set to make $1 million in 2026 with annual raises built in at $100,000 a year every year through the length of his contract.
So, Barry, he was a lifelong NFL scout.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know what a scout makes. Okay. But I can't imagine a scout makes more than a couple $100,000 at the high end. And I can't imagine they were paying him much more than that with the Senior Bowl. I don't know. Maybe so. It's, it's a 2-week gig. I mean, you're looking at, you do all this stuff, but that's a 2-week gig. He's now making 7 figures to basically determine which 18 to 23-year-old they want to hire and keep, take, whatever at the University of Oklahoma. And that's a daunting task. I mean, Courtney Morgan in Alabama makes 7 figures.
He's one of.
He started out 7 figures. So.
I think there are now with Jim Nagy, there are 8 GMs that are making over $1 million a year. Courtney Morgan is one. The guy at LSU is one. The guy at North Carolina under Belichick, Michael Lombardi, is one. The guy at USC is one. So they ain't many. And if you'd have told Jim Nagy in year 3 in the Senior Bowl that he was going to be a millionaire at some point, you thought you were crazy. It's a 4-year, $4.6 million contract. And the thing is that's a sweet deal. He is really kind of forward facing. He every once in a while he'll have his own press conferences. When Venables is out recruiting and having official visitors in, Venables will have photo shoots with official visitors and with Jim Nagy. He has a huge staff, 2 assistant GMs, a director of player personnel, a director of player personnel and retainment, a director of high school scouting, an assistant director of college scouting, scouting coordinators, coordinator of on-campus recruiter, recruiting operations coordinators, director of football recruiting content, and football recruiting content specialists. He ain't doing it all himself.
Who's more important to the player, the head coach or the general manager?
The initial contact.
I mean, the guy cutting the check. I think the guy cutting the check is the most important guy now.
Well, here's what an official visit looks like. And, I was fortunate enough to be given a tour by John Sumrall down at Florida when Troy was playing in the Gainesville Regional. And they had a big recruiting weekend that weekend. And he was gracious enough to spend some time with us to show us around. It was incredible. And it's important. I mean, the head coach has got to eyeball the guys. And, if he loves football, if he's a high-energy guy or if he's an energy vampire, he has to make those reads, right? Likes the guy, likes his film. He was telling me, and I can't divulge names, about this one guy who came walking by that was a good freshman last year for him. He was, thinking about going somewhere else, and he ended up staying with a little bit of a raise and all that. So, he's got to know that stuff. He's got to know the guys he wants. And a lot of times that list is curated by the general manager. He likes the guy, likes his family, likes his work ethic, likes his upside, likes his athleticism, likes the way he practices, likes the way he loves football. What does he do then? It's like buying a car. You send him to the guy upstairs and say, all right, let's make your deal. And the kid knows that, and the kid's parents know that. And if he likes Florida or he likes Auburn or he likes Alabama, he says, I could play here. I think they could develop me here. I ain't doing it for free. And sometimes those guys are sitting there thinking, yeah, dormitory, great, fine. Yeah. The cafeteria, sure, great, whatever, that's great. I love it. Now, how much are you going to pay me? Well, that's our guy, Jim Nagy. We'll get with him and he'll run the numbers and he'll talk with, and you'll get to meet him and spend some time with him, and you'll get to talk with Director of Player Personnel and Retainment, Stacy Ford, and we'll make you a deal that you can't wipe off with Windex. That's what the kid wants to see. I mean, he'll love Golish. He'll love DeBoer. He'll love Sumrall. He'll love Brent Venables and all that. Love him, love him, love him. Ain't playing for him until the money's right. So Nagy is Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross. He's the closer of the whole deal. And evidently, he is a pretty good closer. Well,
hey, Barry, one thing before we get to the break or whatever we've got.
Yeah.
And I know Range Pro is maybe one of our only viewer listeners who is focused on this, but there has been a suspension of play at the U.S. Open already with 14. Now they're back, but with 14 players on the course, they suspended play. You want to guess why?
Weather?
You got to guess?
Raining?
Nope.
What else is there?
Fog. They had a bank of fog come in. They held up play for like 15 minutes to see if it would clear through, and it didn't, and they brought everybody in. So if you can't see the hole, you can't play the course. And this is going to be this is going to be a great U.S. Open, but they're going to be behind. They may or may not get finished today because of 2-hour delay because they got so many players. But the wind is going to blow, and it's going to blow hard. It's going to blow 20 to 40, and for that reason, they're windproofing the course. They're not making the greens as fast, but at the higher points on the course, they're growing the grass on the greens so that otherwise there'd be no way to keep the balls on the green. It'd be going that fast. So
I'm surprised we haven't heard from Range Pro with a pick for the U.S. Open yet.
Well, he did. We did have one. He had a couple yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right.
So Justin Rose yesterday, they asked him. He said, "Look, if this was Augusta, if this was the PGA," I think maybe he said if it was the British Open, we would not be playing with these kind of winds. They would suspend play. But because it's the U.S. Open, it's expected, and that's fine, and it's going to be brutal. And I think they're expecting it. We'll see if that changes, but it could get brutal.
I think the bigger issue there, and you brought it up, if you can't see the hole, you can't play the course. I think the bigger issue there is if the television viewers can't see the ball and see the hole and see the course, then they ain't watching it. I'm not sure it's for player safety or player consideration as much as it is for the viewers. Marge, I can't see where the ball. Does anybody know where it? No, if it doesn't play well on television, it's the TV partners who are calling the 30-second timeout there. Stay with us. Coming up, it is the often imitated, never duplicated, heavily curated, and thoroughly researched Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel to close out our week's worth of programming on Longshore and McKnight without the Longshore in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Have to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Oh, I've got to have some help with this. Plainsman Preston said, in Scouts, we gave kids Phenaments and told them they were chiclets. Oh, what are Phenaments? I remember that word. I remember that name, Phenaments. What that weight loss thing or something like that? Oh, help me out, Preston, because that one jogs something for us here. Phenaments.
Phenaments.
Yeah, I don't know that. That sounds familiar. Anyway, he's Warren Matthews. I'm Barry McKnight. John will be back on Monday. No show tomorrow. And it is time for our Victoryland 777 Casino topic wheel.
Barry, before we get to the wheel, I've got to tell you that I got a text in the middle of the night last night from the Phantom. Okay.
Ooh, okay. All right.
But I think there must be a weather issue or something. It got cut off before his daily dog could be predicted on the text. So got the text, but we have no daily dog today. So he goes 7-0-1 on the 2 week burner heater that he's got. So just had to say that before we got into the
All right, there we go. So it's a partial text. It's a partial text. It's like the old bit that George Carlin used to do as a local newscaster. The sportscast would be in the Industrial League. It's Phillips 66 and Century 21. And we have a partial score now. It's the Lakers 23. That's what we ended up with.
And we had 3 dots. 3 dots went on for 2 hours.
He does that.
Then a butt dial.
He does that.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
No phantom today. All right, let's get to that wheel.
Yep. Victoryland 777 topic wheel brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. 6 topics. Gurn Jr. does a lot of work on this, much appreciated, and they're always something really entertaining. Have no idea what they are, but they always turn out pretty well. Here we go. Let's roll this thing, get it going here to close out the program. We start with the winner is not you.
Not you. It's not you, it's me. It's me, it's not you.
Ooh, I've heard that before. Let's see. Thierry Henry on Ronaldo. Portugal, like we said, who in the world knew? Portugal ends up
the Phantom. The Phantom knew.
Yeah, the Phantom knew. Portugal ended up drawing in their match against, what was it, Senegal? And I agree with this. I saw some clips. Ronaldo, he did not have it was against the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's right, which is huge, but it's Congo. Ronaldo has been fantastic in the World Cup, but I watched him yesterday. He needs some help. He did not have a great match, but he did not have a whole lot of help. And Thierry Henry, who's one of the greats as well, he said he could have been doing more to help his team and all that, but he's looking to score. I didn't think the team helped him out a lot. They just looked disjointed in the whole match. There were times whenever he's looking for somebody to pass it to him, and they've got it themselves, and he's wide open shot.
I'll say this about Ronaldo. No matter what you want to say about him, he is one of the best coiffed people in the world. He's got it down. His stylist has him rocking it on a daily basis.
I don't know how he does it. And people like that drive me crazy because whenever I'm running or sweating a lot or exercising a lot, I'm a mess. My face looks like a beet. My hair's all over the place. Ronaldo could run 90 minutes, and there's not a hair out of place.
He's a beautiful person.
I hate people like that. Okay.
All right, let's spin it. Let's see what we got.
Okay. 1 in, 5 left. I'm not even sure how a couple of those are pronounced. We'll give it a shot.
I'm nervous about this one.
Wahi.
Oh, Wahi. Okay. There you go.
All right. No idea. Oh, Ivory Coast. Ilie Wahi arrested for League One spot fixing. Ivory Coast is actually, I think it was called Côte d'Ivoire now because it's
Côte
French.
d'Ivoire. There you go, Barry.
Because
I like that.
It sounds weird to have a country named after two different brands of soap, but it's Ivory Coast. Eli Wahi was arrested for spot fixing in Marseille just a couple of weeks beforehand. He got a yellow card with Nice. That's not what spot fixing. Partners, an unusual amount of bets being placed on a caution card being issued to the player Eli White. Oh, that's what it is. There's bets. There's bets on everything. There's bets that this guy is going to get a red card in the match against Nice. And he ended up getting a red card in the match against Nice. He can do that. I mean, you cannot necessarily control whether you score a goal or how many goals you score or how many goals you give up if you're a goalie. You can't. I mean, that's just the tone of the game. But by gosh, if somebody's betting on you and giving you a little something extra to get a yellow card, I can get a yellow card. So he is now suspended from all FIFA sanctioned activities, including the World Cup. Wahi.
I'm not saying anything, but the Phantom may have had some inside information on the Ivory Coast first match in the World Cup. And so I think while he definitely went with other African countries in the first round, he stayed away from that because I think he had some inside information that he used to not bet that one.
That's probably right. That seems like an easy bet to get a player on. Hey, I got a bet that you'll get a technical foul in the Alabama game. I can do that. Heck,
that's right.
Yeah, that seems like something that would be easy to fix. Back at it again.
Here we go.
4 to go. Four left here on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. And we go here to the Socceroos. This is Australia.
I think this is Australia.
Australia and the U.S. The Socceroos, you have Les Bleus for France. You have Azzurri. That's the team nickname for Italy. The Socceroos are the Australians, and they're okay. They play the United States in Group D in the knockout stage tomorrow. I think it's at 1:00. Mo Toure is probably their best player, and he's not 100%. Midfield rotations are the key. Against Paraguay, they didn't really get tested.
I just hope there's not a letdown. We need a good, solid 2-0, 3-1, something just a good, solid victory.
Yeah.
Because you get that victory, you're automatically in the knockout. If you win,
the Socceroos stunned Turkey. Now this match, again, tomorrow, it's a biggie. They see this Friday's match as a tough test. The Americans are saying that. It's a tough test. They're not taking it lightly. It is in Seattle, as we mentioned, and it is I think it's at 1:00 Central Time, 2:00 Eastern Time. It's Group D, which is the USA, Australia, Turkey, and Paraguay. The U.S. could really be in good shape here. If they win, they're tied with Australia with 3 points in the first round.
That's a great stadium too. I mean, that Seattle knocked it out of the park when they built that stadium. So that'll be a really cool venue.
Back at it again. We roll on with 3 topics left in the topic wheel. Somebody asked, what's that hat behind Warren's right shoulder? That may come back later if we have time. We'll address it. What do we got here? What's the official ruling? We stay on tough break. Oh, that's a tough break. Wenzel Perez injured in the face in a training room accident. All right, he's with the Tigers. I was wondering about that.
That's like in Jerry Maguire when the guy had the tragic bass fishing accident for his brother Pee Wee or whatever.
I've seen players working over and over again with a therapy band. It's basically a big, huge rubber band, gives you resistance without having to carry around a whole bunch of weights. Well, it snapped off the hook where it was connected and hit old Wenzel Perez just below the left eye. We have a battery of tests to check out his face, his eye. We're pretty concerned about it. He hasn't been good this year. He's hit 7 homers, which isn't bad. But, yeah, former Auburn pitcher Casey Mize, by the way, you see at the bottom, he was on the mound against the Astros, was not great. But, yeah, I've wondered about that before because I've had it happen before. You have those resistance bands. You put them on your ankles and you move laterally, and it's supposed to, you know, strengthen your inner thigh muscles and stuff. I've had one of those snap, and, man, that hurts. Hit you right on the inside. I wonder why that doesn't happen more often.
I've said this several times on this show. I was a heavy child, and for some reason, people felt like they should pop heavy children with rubber bands. And not like shooting them, but just taking them, pressing it against the body, pulling it, and popping it.
Yeah.
And guess what? That will leave a mark.
I have done that myself in the past.
And I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name names of the people in my neighborhood who terrorized me. And some are big. Some are very important people in the state of Alabama now. And they'd be embarrassed to know it. But, yeah, it hurt. It hurt my feelings.
Just to let you know, Warren has not forgotten.
I have not forgotten.
What is that hat over your right shoulder in the background?
All right, so it's kind of a joke. It may not have been a joke at the time, but sometimes it says "World's Best Dad."
Oh, okay.
I love it. It's not a joke to me. I value it. That's why I put it behind my desk so I can look at it. I'm not so sure it's accurate, but it does make me feel good.
I love the pictures in the background, Gurn Jr. back there. I love the diplomas, but the best thing about it is the World's Best Dad cap and the Basset Hound statue. You can tell.
So, Barry, I will say this. We do have a second. I can tell you. I've got a picture behind me. Well, it's over on the side.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre because you've been to how old were you when you went to Disney World for the first time? Because you grew up down there.
Yeah, it was 1971 when it opened, and I was there at the opening. This is Palm Bay is about 45 miles away. So the very first time, 1971.
We ventured down in 1973, maybe 2 or 3. Okay. And you remember the ride that was just the cars. You drive the cars, and it was not really on a track. You could go side to side, but it's just the cars, race cars. You know,
it was in Tomorrowland.
It was novel at the time. We thought it was great. So I was driving, okay? And they took a picture of me and my dad, okay, in that picture.
Right.
So took the family when Gurn Jr. was, I don't know, 5 or 6.
Right.
And a random partner of mine from Birmingham happened to be there, and he took a picture of the 2 of us in a car. Okay.
All
so
right.
I had 2 pictures of father and son on the cars at Disney World. Well, that's a cool thing, right?
It is, absolutely.
You want to know what's spooky? The number on the car is the same number in both pictures.
Whoa.
And the number is
totally random.
8. Totally random. I mean, they have 28, 15. So they're the same numbers on the car.
Probably the same car. Probably have not been cleaned between pictures.
Well, it might not be, and maybe there's gum underneath where I put it on there as a kid. But anyway,
that's a good story. I like that.
I've got them side by side. I've got those pictures side by side. So that's we digress.
What do we have left here, Gurn?
We got red and blue.
2 and 2
John
minutes.
says we got red and blue.
All right, as always, we always end with red and blue. It's a little bit sticky, but we got it going. We go ticker tape.
Oh, we know what that is.
Ticker tape. Yeah.
Today's the day.
Oh my gosh, the New York Knicks parade day is here, and they have been saying that they've already arrested 63 people. People have been camping out on the parade route for 2 days.
So I was listening to WTSU or whatever the NPR station is in Troy.
Yeah, that's in Troy, WTSU.
And the guy from
89.9.
NPR was saying his normal trip on the subway was crowded. He could not get from the subway up to the street because of the number of people just there.
Millions.
And then in the street.
There will be millions out there on that route.
To see a car drive by.
Supposed to start like in 1 minute. Supposed to start at 9 o'clock Central Time in New York City. It's going to be nuts. Watch out for pickpockets, and people will sell you, oh, this is actually a bit of string from the actual nets. It ain't.
So, Barry, I saw an interview that said windows don't open anymore. So they can't, there are only a few number of windows that they can shoot the tape out of the windows. So they have to like go find windows that will open and just blast it out.
Maybe lift it up with some drones or
nobody open. You don't have windows that open anymore in big buildings.
No.
So I thought that was vintage.
One more.
Here we go. Last one. Right on the hour.
Diplomatic.
Let's see what the dip means.
Yeah. Oh, diplomacy. Here we go.
There we go.
Diplomacy. All right. What could this possibly be? TSA is forced to issue a warning as foreign World Cup fans fall in love with American condiment, the ranch dressing. Please stop chugging your ranch.
So, Barry, you know what I describe ranch as? That's fat people ketchup.
It is. Jerry Miller has ranch on his steak. People are coming to the United States from all over the country, and they are discovering ranch dressing. I love ranch. Who doesn't love ranch dressing? The TSA in an Instagram post said, the world is slowly discovering ranch pairs perfectly with pizza, chicken wings, fries, onion rings, quesadillas, crackers, chips, vegetables, and the list just keeps growing. Are you kicking around the idea of flying home with your favorite dip? It needs to be like shampoos, conditioner, and now ranch dressing, 3.4 ounces or less. What people are doing is they're coming in with their Hidden Valley. You know, they're about to take it back to the Congo because this is great. And all of a sudden, the TSA says, if you've got ranch dressing of more than 3.4 ounces, you cannot get on. And so they're chugging their ranch dressing. That's gross.
So, Barry, we've gone from gizzards to chugging ranch dressing. This could be I apologize as a professional that you have been put through this.
Yeah,
as a professional journalist, that just shows you that podcasts can go anywhere.
Well, I do think that ranch dressing goes great with gizzards, by the way. So, Plainsman Preston's got the stopwatch out. He says it's time to go.
It's time. Get me out of here, Percy.
It's no show tomorrow. John is back on Monday. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.